Welcome to So True. And Devotional today is entitled Take the Next Step. It's based on the text of Joshua 3, verses 11 through 17. What is stopping you from taking the next step? What is it that's making you hold back from boldly moving forward? Is it the size of the task? Is it the doubting of friends and family? Is it the fear of failure? Is it the security of the familiar, what's known over and against what's unknown? There you stand on the doorstep of a great opportunity, brilliantly disguised as an impossible situation. Well, this was the situation of the children of Israel on the edge of entering the promised land. Their story is told in Joshua chapter 3. The Israelites are looking across to Canaan and the river Jordan at flood level standing in their way. Joshua 3, 1 through 17. The river's edge was becoming a swamp. Joshua 3:15 tells us that the water was overflowing the banks of the river. It seems that God had brought them to the east bank of the river Jordan at a most unpropitious time. How were they going to cross this river when it was swelling and the area was becoming a swamp? The more they looked, the more impossible the crossing seemed. No boats, no bridges, no way. Faced with this improbable and impossible situation, God tells the Israelites to take a step of faith by following the priests who bear the ark of the covenant into the river. Joshua 3 verse 11, that ark symbolizing God's presence among the people. God promises them that if they will march forward by faith in obedience to Him, then as soon as their feet rest in the waters of the river Jordan, He will dam up the river, enabling them to cross, not unlike the Red Sea episode. That's Joshua 3, 13 to 16. If you want a cross-reference to the Red Sea, you can go to Exodus 14, 15, and 16. Trusting God, they did take that next step toward Canaan. As they passed through the waters, God proved that He was with them and for them in the most marvelous way. I can't help but think of Isaiah 43 verse 2, where God promises to be with us when we pass through the waters. They will not overwhelm us. Got any rivers you think are uncrossable? Well, this story teaches us that there are no God-sized solutions until we get our feet wet, boldly and believingly taking the next step in what we know to be the will of God for us. Yes, heaven moves to help us when we step out in faith to obey. Focusing on the ark, that is looking to the Lord, is good. Joshua 3:11. Sanctifying yourself, that is prayerfully preparing yourself, is good. Joshua 3:5. But these are not enough. For we must also be willing to get our feet wet in bold action. Joshua 3:13. It was only until the priest put their feet and rested their feet in the waters of the river Jordan that God began to do His miraculous work. If we're going to do anything for God and God for us, we must take that first step into the swelling tide, showing our faith to be large and our God to be big. Remember Hebrews 11:6, without faith, it's impossible to please God. And without God, things remain impossible. Let me close with this. In 1994, June and I decided to pack up with our 3 small daughters and leave our home in Northern Ireland and come out to the United States, come out to the state of California and begin to attend the Master's Seminary under the leadership of Dr. John MacArthur and his kind interest in our ministry. I can tell you this from the other side of the pond. I was in a settled ministry. I had a church. I had friends and family nearby. The Lord was using me to leave that all behind. It was a big and it was a bold move. But I believed God was in it. I was convinced that the Master's Seminary would set me up for the next chapters of my ministry and hopefully a long future of faithful service to Jesus Christ. And when we were in the middle of all of that, thinking through that big, bold move, God encouraged us with a paraphrase of the words of Proverbs 4, verse 12. I think we had come across this paraphrase in a reading of Letty Cowman's book, Streams in the Desert. And the paraphrase went like this, Proverbs 4:12, as you go, the way shall open up to you. And God opened the way. And I not only became a student, I became a graduate, and for well over a decade, I was a trustee in that school. And God proved that promise in an unbelievable way. But it all started with the step of faith. And so my challenge to you today, if you're going to do something for God, you've got to be willing to get your feet wet. And I hope you are. God bless.